What's up, Blue Chips? We're going to be going over the month of July, answering any questions you may have. So let's just get right to it. All right. Welcome, everybody that's tuning in. Jonathan, hello. How are you? Good to see some familiar faces. Hopefully we have some strangers in here today. If you are a stranger to myself and all the others that are familiar faces, feel free to introduce yourself. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along. These typically aren't that long, the review sessions, unless we get a lot of engagement from the viewers yourself, asking a bunch of questions. So if you want this thing to go on forever, it's fine with me. Just ask some questions. We are live. Your comments have been getting me on the videos. Shall we go to a first name basis there, Wired Day Trader? I know your channel is new. You're actually two of my subscriptions, so appreciate that support. Sir Kenobi, what's going on, man? This guy kills his trades, and I can't watch his review. I watch your reviews, but sometimes I'm just looking at your charts and I'm like, I guess I'm eating spaghetti tonight. Cracks me up every time, sorry. But yeah, so hopefully everyone's having a good night. Hopefully everyone had a good week, a good start to August. I'm starting to feel a little confident. We're hoping to start kind of, I don't want to say necessarily scaling up, but we're going to definitely be looking to increase our share size a little bit. So, and essentially we will be starting to scale up, but basically we're looking to kind of just start, feeling more confident in our trades. It's really that simple. Just to go over, this is stocktrader.com, guys. Something I advocate for everybody. If you're not keeping a journal, I don't understand why. It's one of the best things I ever started doing. Every day I input my trades, and winner or loser, by inputting your trades, it really makes you look at a chart. It makes you kind of understand why you did what you did. Makes you see how you could have done something better, how you could cut out something that you keep doing that isn't good. Just if you're not doing a journal, guys, do one. It doesn't matter if it's here on stocktrader.com. There's ones you can pay for, like TraderView, EdgeWonk. There's a bunch of different ones, but this one's free. It's easy to use. Keeps track of everything. I have it limited down here to just July, but as you can see, I have my full history of trading since I started in August of last year, and it's simplistic. There's really nothing special to it, but just to show you, we'll go to the first trade real quick in July, which was ON, and you can put in your actual orders. It gives you the summary of it up here. You can put notes where you can describe the trade to yourself, so when you go back to review it at a later date, you can understand what you did. You can put your actual charts on there. There's just so much you can do, and it's free. So I'm not, again, I don't get anything for this. It's free. So I'm just letting you guys know this is a valuable tool that I found, and it's what I'm using to review the month of July with you guys right now. So Double D, what's up, man? I got to do this. Hey ho, Thomas, what's going on, man? You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate the support. If you guys haven't, just hit that like button for me. I don't even think it does anything. I just like to see the number go higher. But if you're not subscribed, do that. I know that helps. You need to get to that 1,000 mark so we can really blow up, and then I can be like, screw all you people after 1,000. You weren't originals. No, I'm just kidding. I love everybody. Here to help everybody. So let's get to it. This is actually my first trade. ON. We'll pull the chart up. And I did get lazy towards the end of the month. I was really having, we'll call it fun with my kids and my home life. So I really kind of got lazy. A lot of the trading was kind of in and out trades and go be with the kids. So if I don't have a chart here and there, don't get mad at me. But ON this was one that just, came up, top ticked it, and, we even got under VWAP on this one. Now, I want you guys to realize one thing here. I only took 50 shares, right? Like I said, we're going to start scaling up. But what I want you guys to realize is the percentage gains that I'm getting on some of these trades, as well as the actual cents. Because if you were to just add a zero, right, to this 50 and made it 500, some people are like, oh, you only made $8.50. Well, imagine that being $80.50, or it would be more than that, obviously. But just imagine, right? It's all about scalability. If you can consistently get, say, 17 cents here. On this one, it's a little bit more math involved, but average buy, average sell, so 10 cents. You can go on and on doing this. It's all scalability, though. Look at this one, 78 to 41. That's 37 cents. There's a lot of people that say, oh, you're only trading 50 shares, blah, 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 blah. But, hey, if I can get myself to where I'm making $50 a day and then make it $100 a day, just by upping my share size a little bit, trading the exact same strategy. That's the key to trading, is consistency, following a strategy that works, hammering it down, mastering it, and then scaling it. People that want to get rich quick, it's just not for you. You got to put in the hard work. I've been doing this since... Oh, yeah. That reminds me. I actually do need a drink. Jonathan, thank you. Did that actually say anything? I'll have to check. Give me one sec, guys. Gotta pay respects to Jonathan if that actually said something. I always like to read them. I looked over and I didn't see anything underneath it. I love tacos. Taco Tuesday, baby. I can't wait for it. But, oh, yeah, I guess just a shock top, guys. Nothing special. Jonathan, man, when he does his live streams, I think he may be starting that up soon again, but I think he's a little bit more professional now. But he's the one that started this one. He used to do his live streams. If you donated to him, he had probably a shot glass the size of this can, and he'd fill it up like, I don't know, halfway to 3/4. He's like taking shots. Straight shots for like $5. I'm like, all right, man. I'm just going to keep tipping you $5. By the end of that stream, he held his liquor pretty good, but by the end of the stream, he was ready to go. But yeah, just a quick overview before I get into the actual trades. The month of July, guys, we went 29-3, so our win percentage was 90.63%. And I want to say I don't think I took one trade like pre-planning the trade. Everyone's saying you gotta, wake up early, and I advocate the guys that do this, but it's just not for me. Let me tell you, you haven't seen me actually take a drink yet. Back in your younger days. Did it actually say anything, Jonathan, or are you just being nice? If it's not, I'm just gonna put it right towards circuit. I'm gonna get that little bit left that I need to get the master node going. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, I advocate the people that, wake up early and they're drawing support resistance lines, finding the stocks that may be moving for the day. And, the way my life is right now, I don't have time for that. I wake up at 6:30 every day forcefully when my wife leaves for work and my oldest is saying bye to her because he's awake as well. I have to go downstairs, make sure he comes back inside. And then my day starts, making breakfast for him, getting his vitamins, his orange juice that he loves, and brushing our teeth. And by that time, usually the little one's screaming, saying, hey, come up and get me. And then, I'm sitting there playing with them. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have to take the oldest to school. There goes the class clown of the neighborhood on his dirt bike. And then I come back home and I'm playing with the little one. And before I know it, it's it's 9:15, 9:20. And, I don't have time to do all that stuff. So I sit down and I pull up my old trusty ISW scanners, guys. And, I'm not really going out of my way to pitch these things to you, but I'm 29-3 in the month of July, all off the scanner. Not one single trade that I take was me like doing prep work, having the chart up already. I usually, the 5 minutes I sit down before the bell rings, I try to pull up like 3 charts off of the gap up list, but that's the extent of my prep work. Usually what I do, I'll just show you guys real quick. Say like AFA, this was actually yesterday, this was today. What was one that I traded today? NWL. So NWL, I actually tried to trade it here. I didn't get filled. Had to order, let me scroll back out, that was a little too close. I had to order at 15.15 and she got the 15.12. It was very frustrating. This thing was moving so fast. I just thought on the 15 pop we would at least get that 15 cents, but almost got there. And this thing dropped all the way back down to 14.57. That was very frustrating. I ended up trading it later. Wasn't too confident about it. I actually put 50 shares at 45 and another 50 at 55 over top the $0.50 break, figuring because I actually tried to get 100 shares here, but I figured if she didn't want to get through 50 because it seemed like she was struggling, I at least had half my starting position, and if she wanted to pop through and give us the 55, then we would have just had an average of 50, and I would have been happy with that to start. But as you can see, she didn't do that, and she came down to here and she stalled for like like 3 or 4 seconds. And it was like right at this previous resistance. I was just like, oh crap, it's going to bounce right back up. I only got my starter. Let's just take these. And if it does bounce back up, we'll just look to get back in if it wants to run. Well, it stalled and it was probably like 4 or 5 seconds after I got out. And then she just kept on going down, but it is what it is. But what I'm getting at, guys, is look at this stock in the pre-market. Nobody was really trading this thing. It was going down, blah, 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 blah. I sit down around here, still not looking at this thing. Well, right at the bell, it's going nutso on the scanner. So I pull it up. I actually think I can probably show you. I should be able to. Yep, as you can tell, that was me getting right back up, getting ready to trade. Let's see. So we're at 928. Let's see. So I already have it pulled up here because it was already going crazy. Okay, so let me mute this. All right. So look down here in the bottom left. You see KR. I'm just kind of scrolling through, watching the scanners. And then there's NWL. See it up on the scanner? So I pulled it up. And now she's at the top of the scanner. And this is what I do. When I pull a stock up, I immediately go to the daily, which you see here, and I start looking for key areas. And that's the extent of me looking for, support resistance. And you'll see, I'm seeing draw the line. I saw it at 15.95. So to me, starting that position at 15.15, yeah, it's a big intense move. So that's why I felt okay with it. But as you can see, I left it because it wasn't where I would want to trade it just yet. But I do go back to it. Let's go. There it goes. So I had that area up there, 15.95, but this was such an intense move at the bell. I was saying, okay, well, if I can get in now, if it really wants to run up to that key area, I have no problem getting my 2 ads in. My entry at 15, an ad around 50, and then that final ad up there towards 16 if it really wanted to run there. That was the plan going into this. And as you can see, I end up not getting it, and then she drops down, but neither here nor there. We don't need to sit there and talk about that. Pulp free, Simply Orange. Kid just absolutely loves it. We actually get it from Sam's Club, and he loves going to the fresh, because they always have someone there handing out their fresh OJ that they make there in the store, and he absolutely loves that, and that actually has pulp in it. But for some reason, we bought that and brought it home one time. It's super expensive too. It's like $8 for like one container. But it is fresh squeeze, and it is really good. But bring it home, he didn't want it. He only drinks that in the store, and he wants the pulp-free stuff at home. So, interesting. Check your wallet. You savage. I don't know if I want to. Can I show that? Jonathan actually donated again. He is amazing, talking about Lone Wolf day trading, to my CRCT wallet, and it put me very close. I'm now within 2,000 of getting a masternode. If anybody wants to figure out how many coins that is. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. You didn't have to do that, but it gets me very excited. I'm excited to talk to you afterwards about how to get that all set up, because we should be there. Yeah, again, guys, if you guys have any questions, orange juice related, taco related, trade related, just let me know as we're going through this. But let's bring back up this guy. Oops, wrong thing. So we were 29.3, and sorry I went on a little tangent about the scanners, but I just wanted to show you that. I mean, that's where I'm getting all these. Basically just trading. Do work on sarcasm. Yeah, definitely, Jonathan. I'll catch you later. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the support. I'm very, very appreciative of that. You know that. I'm going to probably give it all back to you when we finally hang out, since you're only 30 minutes away, and I'll bring the beer. So, as you can see, in these 3 losses, something I worked on a lot was cutting down the size of the losses. Yes, I had one that was $107. We'll get to that. That was very, very frustrating. If anybody follows the channel, the KPTI trade, but yeah. And then we had 2 other losers. I think one was like right after that. I think it was CHGG. Yep, it was literally right after KPTI. And then we had one very recent, which was just a dumb trade on my part, NTR. This was me. I had a streak going. If we click here, I had 23 trades in a row, and my best trading streak, a green streak, was 28 trades. And there was so many times in a row where, let me pull up the chart. This was one of them ones. In my past, you've seen like ACHC, a bunch of those where they grinded just like this, where they made this big intense move. We tried to play it, and if you see here, I actually cut my loss here on the first trade, and I was going to let it run. And she came down and popped, and she went right to high a day and seemed like she was rejecting. So we got back in, and as you can see, she didn't. I should have just cut it again here and just been done with it. Instead, I tried to fight it, and we actually got a pullback. And on this right here, it actually put me, I don't know, it was like $2 from being green on the trade. And so I kept, instead of just taking it off and being $2 down on the stock and just it being a red trade, I decided to let my ego get in the way. And I kept 50 shares. I think I had 200 at this point. I think this was 100 and 100. Took off 100 and then 50. We can actually check that. 100. So yeah, so it starts on the top. So we sold, we shorted and we covered. That was the first loss. And then we shorted, and then we covered, and then covered 50 again. So, and then we added 50, added 100. I think we covered that 100, and then we started recycling a little bit, just trying to get this thing to drop, and it just never dropped, as you can see. And on these 2 candles right here, I told myself I had a stop loss right above high of day, so I tried to add like 4 cents below that, so that way if it did reject high of day, we would get more shares for the ride down, and I was only risking 4 cents from the high of day there if we got stopped out, which we did get stopped out. And as you can see, it was a good stop because she went back up, and this was me just saying, hey, I want some of my money back, and just letting my ego get in the way again, taking one more trade, just trying to scalp it, and it was just dumb. But it all goes back to here. There's 2 mistakes here that I made. That ego was number 1 because I wanted it to be a green trade, so I kept shares that I shouldn't have kept. I should have been taking it all here. But it wasn't a horrible idea at the time because we were coming back down. We were looking for this thing to come back down towards VWAP, especially after such a big move. And we just didn't get it. So what we should have done was, instead of adding here, we could have done like the same trick we did here where we added shares at high of day and then stopped out. But instead we added, when high of day, we added again. And then we started trying to recycle shares just to try to keep our average up high enough, eventually looking for a dip. And that's the wrong thing to do. I've done that in the past, and with like ACHC, there was another one, I forget the ticker, but if you pull those charts up, they look exactly like this, where they just have a big move and they just keep on doing it. So you're fighting this thing all day. And look how long I fought this thing, almost all the way to lunchtime. And it's stupid. Like I need to stop doing it. This was my one like big mistake in the month. But since we kind of went over the losers, we'll just go over the other two losers real quick too. CHGG, apparently I was mad at this one, didn't pull the chart. Let's see, sold 43.07, 43.45, 43.48 is one. So we did kind of the same thing, it looks like, where we shorted and then we had a stop in place. So we shorted right close to that at 45, and then we stopped out at 48. So that is what it is. I'm annoyed that I don't have the chart. KPTI, I know I have the chart. I was probably still mad from, what? How do I not have this chart? That's kind of annoying because I know I had that chart. Just from all the stuff that went on with CMEG. That's a little frustrating. Wonder if I don't think I have. Man, that's kind of frustrating. Oh well. I wonder if we can bring, what date was that? Back on. I'm not going to be able to see. I'd have to bring up Thinkorswim and do on demand to do that, and I really don't feel like doing that. KPTI, if you guys don't remember, was the one that went up and it was coming back down and then it halted on news pending. And the news pending was that the FDA was approving their drug for whatever it was, and it had leaked, and that's why the move was happening in the first place. Well, when it unhalted, it was in the after hours, and it was a half day. It was that Friday that was a half day after or before July 4th. So we were supposed to, I called up CMEG twice that day asking when their trading hours were over, and it was an hour after close. Well, this opened up, it was like 23 minutes after close, and I tried to close my position several times for like plus 600. I would have been like plus $600 at the very bottom. And I had realized gains on the way. Like I took 918 at the top, and I was recycling these shares because this was my final ad, and we nailed the top pretty much at the time. And it came back down, so we took those off, and so that was our realized gain of it was like $114 or something like that. And then the big old mishap happened with KPTI, and they ended up giving me my remaining 400 shares at 870 and 865, which my average was at 870, I think. I think it was like a 870.65 or something. Like, you could do the math if you really wanted to. But basically, it was break even on the remaining shares, but at one point it got down to like 755 or something like that coming out of the halt. So that was very frustrating to take this loss at all, because it shouldn't have been a loss. But yeah, that was kind of a bummer. It actually killed my mood, because that was, if you guys look, there was a month gap because I went and traded on paper for a month. Because I took that big loss. Of course I can't I should be able to show it. I took that big loss on MTSI, and my account size was low, so I had to build up some funds to get my account size back up to where I could actually trade, because I started trying to trade lower. I couldn't trade anything above like $15 with any kind of size, not even like 100 shares because my buying power would run out. It was just really stupid. So I decided to basically call it for a month. And when I came back, that was my third day in, and I had to deal with that whole KPTI thing. So I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Would your account be blown up? Genuine question, not trying to be a jerk. No, it's a good question. No, it wouldn't have. I mean, I can show you. I have no problem. You guys know I show you my account. I started that month with $5,000, and this is obviously they took my account fees out yesterday, so we were at like 5250. I want to say it was right. Yeah. So basically, this thing got to the point where I was down. I think it was like $900 or something like that. When they actually closed the trade out, when it was almost at its highest, when it gapped up to like 10 something, I was actually down, like when they closed the trade, I was down like I think it was like 830 or something total with this 107 or whatever it was in there. Cause it was like 107 or 112 plus, I think it was like 630. Here, I can just check. How about we just do that? Let me make sure I'm not. How about we just do that? What did I do? Let me make sure I'm not. How about we just do that? What did I do? I don't know how I just did that, but. Oh, okay, I see. Let's see. July. All right. So this is straight from CMEG's reports. So KPTI, as you can see, so at the end of the day, so this doesn't really seem right. So it was 5. They actually closed me out for those 400 shares at, do I have to go into the detail? Yeah, hold on. I just don't want to make sure I'm showing you anything crazy. Detailed. There we go. Oh, there we go. Trades. Sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. So July 3rd, or I guess, yeah, where's the... Now I'm confused. I guess this is just... I mean, here's what the total was, so that makes sense. A 964? I thought it was 10 something. You know what? Here, I'm gonna do something. I know where I can find it. This actually will solve everything that I'm trying to figure out. All right, there we go.
Carefully.
So here's the KPTI trade itself, and this was me on the phone with them. So here's my chart and everything. So we got in this thing way early, obviously, and here was our average 870, 375. So I was close. And as you can see, our realized was 118.50. Let's make this bigger. So, is that not going to go away? There we go. So here's my chart over here. I think at what point yeah, so hold on, let me go back to that. You can see here, I was on the phone with them and I was up here, it was $481.50 when they tried to get me out of the position down here at 755. And you can see the order right up in here. And they wouldn't honor that. They ended up giving me 870, 865 or whatever, because that's when I first tried to get out of the position. And here you can see I'm trying to get out of it again at 855 or 820, sorry. That didn't work. And then, was this the next day? Yeah. So here's where they covered me out. I don't know why their report's all weird and saying what it did. But yeah, so they actually covered me out at 1028 that next day. And it was, I don't know if I show the realized, or I guess I can just look at what it is before they close it. So right there at 1027, it's at $626.50. So even at the top, when it gapped up, like it did, I mean, it was only that amount. So it wasn't going to be something that probably blew up my account, but it is something that would have sucked. But I was in a position where if this thing on this day, like if this thing never got halted right in here, I mean, this thing was starting to topple over, and I felt really confident about where I was in the trade, especially with where my average was. It was, up here at, what was it, 870. So when this thing started toppling over and it came under 9, we were at my almost at my average right when it got halted. It got halted on this candle right here, and as you can see, the craziness when it came back out. So I guess the leaked FDA approval or whatever was this move, because I did fear that when it opened up, it could have opened up at $15, $20 for all I know. And if it did do that, then yeah, I was probably a little screwed. And yes, while it was halted, I did the math. If that were to have happened, and yeah, it wasn't too, I think it was like $2,000 or something if it opened up there. And I was prepared to cut it, but apparently I wouldn't have been able to anyway. So we were a little bit fortunate there that it did what it did. Just very frustrated that it turned out the way that it did, but yeah. If KPTI got halted and gapped up over high of day, would you be adding to your position? If it opened up, like I actually have kind of a strat set in place where if something halts against me, I'm not going to make a decision right out of the halt. Like it's something you just can't do, because if you look and like, just take this one for an example, this thing actually tried to shoot up and then it got shoved down like right away. So if you made a split second decision right when this thing opened and you saw like people buying or covering, whatever it is, you can't assume that that's what's going to happen, because pretty much the exact opposite happened. So you basically have to almost give it like a full minute to really realize which way this thing's going to go. And then after a full minute, if this thing was breaking, like even if it opened up at like 950 or even 10, like if it opened up here, it doesn't mean that just because it gapped up and opened up, doesn't mean it's just going to continue. I've seen several times, if you look at stocks that get volatility halts, in the morning, say it's like 750 or whatever, and then it opens up at say 820, that thing just shoots straight down and goes all the way down to like $6. Like you don't know. But my plan coming out of a halt is to wait at least a minute to see what the thing's going to do. You might sacrifice a little bit more of your capital that way, but at least for sure that you're not getting faked out of a bad trade. So you really got to keep your emotions calm in those situations. And that was what I did. I actually didn't even try to make a cover until the second candle, because she got bought up again and then she got shoved down again. And then that's when I tried to just cover some of my position, just to take the risk off, in case she did want to run. And then she got shoved down. So yeah, I mean, there are times, usually if it's the first halt, and you got to remember too, this was a news pending halt, totally different than a volatility halt. But if it's a first volatility halt, there are times where, people FOMO in and it drives the price higher, sometimes into a second halt. But a lot of the times when something like that happens, a lot of the people that were in the first halt, they're selling into the FOMO. And that's usually why the price ends up coming back down without a second halt in most cases, is because, the smart money is selling into the FOMO money. But anyways, that was my 3 losers. I was actually really happy with CHGG. KPTI, you just heard the story on that. That was just very frustrating. And then the NTR trade, that was just ego. This should have been a $2 loss trade, but ego got in the way and it became a $76 loss because I ended up fighting it. And it's actually more than that because of commissions, a lot more commissions than there should have been. So, yeah. So let's go back to just looking at July. So just to show you guys, here's that bad little KPTI and CHGG trade. And then from there, we made a nice little climb for the rest of the month. I was wondering why it was showing that because I lost my custom range there. Let's go back to it. That's the other cool thing. You can literally cycle everything by losing trades. You can do it by winning trades. You can do it by date. You can do it by pretty much anything. It's really nice. It's like an advanced Excel sheet almost. That makes everything much easier. So our return on the month was $366, $367 if you round up. Again, we were taking smaller winners, and that's what we're going to look to increase while keeping our average losers. We're going to try to get those down. That's obviously the name of the game. We had 138 total tickets. I think our amount of trades was 32. And after commissions of $96, we ended up with $271.13. So I thought it was like $250, and it probably is because in my commissions, I don't count like the ECN fees and the trader fees and stuff like that. So that probably is closer to $250. Oh, yes. CMEG commissions, guys, are huge. I mean, if you take the $295 versus $495, and you actually start to trade, I've gotten to the point now where, like on SureTrader, I would sometimes scare myself out of taking a trade because I didn't think I could make that $10 back just in the commissions. It's like, well, I have to make $10 just to break even when I get in this trade. Well, $6 is a lot easier to cope in my head. And I've actually gotten to the point now where I enter trades and make trades where I don't even think about it. So that's really nice too. Yeah, the equity curve is nice if we can keep this going. If we zoom back out, Jesus, OCX, I can tell you, I know these OCX and MTSI. I keep doing it to myself. Back here, this was obviously when I first started. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had an awesome first day. That was my first day right there, negative $1,141. But as you can see, I started to kind of figure it out, and we actually were doing really well. Just trade and support resistance, really. But I hated it. It just wasn't I almost wanted to just quit because I just wasn't enjoying it. And I didn't feel like I could scale it up because I was taking 400 or 500 shares at a time. And I just felt like if I, on some of my losers, if I had more shares, I just felt like I would have been shell shocked, on these, and I wouldn't have been able to cut like I did and stuff like that. And so I ended up, trying to figure some stuff out and took a couple losing trades. And this is literally right before I found ISW and I found OCX, and OCX should have been a $200 winner. This should have went up like this. But instead I walked away from my computer like an idiot, and literally 4 minutes later came back to a halt that went up against me like a point. It was I think $1.20. So 1.2 points. It was hard to fathom because I came back and I was down. I was from up 200 points. Looked like she was trying to break down through a support level. So I went to take my kid to the bathroom real quick. Came back literally 4 minutes later, and I'm hoping, okay, I can take off some of my shares. And I had 1,000 shares like an idiot because I meant to start with 300 shares, but I started with 500. So when I added another 500 instead of 300. And when it came down, I didn't take half off or anything, because at this point, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a home run trade. I'm gonna make like $1,000, blah blah blah, like an idiot. And so I came back, and that thing skyrocketed up against me. I wonder, I should have that. I don't know if I don't think I have the chart, but I don't know why. My dog wants to get up on the couch. Yeah, look at these slew of red trades. Yeah, time and ASNS, that was right here. This is when I tried to go trade on the PDT rule with Interactive Brokers, and that was me trying to swing trade. Didn't work, so it was actually before that. Yep, here's OCX. I ended up losing $1,250 on this thing. Ugh, my God. But, and yeah, that wasn't even including commissions from me holding it overnight for so long. I could go find the chart on TOS if you guys really want to see it, but it was essentially at the bell. Thing shot up with 1,000 shares, 1.2 points against me. I came back from the bathroom. I was down over $1,000, and then I just tried to fight that thing, and it just kept going and going. And that actually almost blew up my account the first time around. Because at one point I actually got margin called at the end of the day for like 270 shares of the 1,000, and then I rode the rest out, and I just started slowly covering those as the price actually thankfully started coming back down over the course of the next week. If you actually go back to my very first couple videos, it's I actually still have the trade up in the upper left of my videos. I'm gonna put him on the couch real quick. But yeah, as you can see in the top left, that's me still trying to close the position out with it the least amount of damage as possible. Give me one sec. Yeah, that was frustrating. This was actually right when I met Brian from ISW, literally like a couple days before this OCX trade. It was very frustrating. I actually think I was in the room just kind of learning how ISW worked while I made this OCX trade. I'll never forget that one. That was very frustrating. But yeah, so that's been my journey. And then this was when I found OCX and I started trading the strategy I'm trading now. And look at this curve. And this is when I had the 28 win streak. I never had a big loser. And I can go back and show you. Actually, let me clear this. And I'll show you that I had that 28 trade win streak. I was hoping it would like take me to it, but it was somewhere around. Yeah, I wasn't doing the charts at that point, because that was one of the other ones, and IVC, that was the other one that just kept continuing. Like, I can see the charts in my head. So yeah, here's the win streak. So let's see where it started. So it started back here on home. And as you can see, I was just, I went the wrong way. Yeah, okay, so I went to the wrong one. So it started here on DSS. And then as you can see, it just kept on going until here, IMGN. So, and then that's what happened is on the new strategy, and of course, if you see IMGN, SFM, FDC, like NWL, I started scaling up a little bit. And I was getting really confident. My confidence was through the roof. And I literally remember this day, because this was a Monday, I was like, I'm going to step it up. I'm going to step up my game. And I picked the wrong day to do that. So I upped my shares just a little bit. I think I started with 200 instead of 100. Yeah. And I totally remember this. I hit 200, and then I was messing around with my montage settings at this time too, where my default was 300 shares instead of 200 shares. And I ended up adding 300 shares by accident. And then instead of just cutting it down right away to get back to where I was comfortable, like I should have just exited the trade to begin with. But yeah, and some of these random fills are actually like 100 or 200 shares, as you can see, or 150. But just at different orders, because CMEG will just give you the best price when they can. So sometimes you get like multiple orders for one ticket. And you can see I only charged a commission for one of them. But yeah, I mean, just look at this thing. Do I have the chart? Yeah. I mean, just look at this other one. Look at the orders for this thing. I mean, that's just disgusting. You should never be fighting something like this. And what's this chart look like? It looks just like the chart I showed you from whatever that recent trade was, the one that I just had the other day. But yeah, look what it did. It made a big move up, and then it just kind of went sideways and never really came back down. And I was just making bad trade after bad trade on this thing. But yeah, I didn't know how to lose on my new strategy. It was something that I had never come across. So when you look at this, I had a nice steady curve. I'm like, oh, my confidence is through the roof. We're going to make a run at this. We were over break even at this point again. And then sure enough, the market decided to humble me. Said, oh yeah, you're overconfident? Well, Gad, throw some extra shares at a stock. I'm going to take all your money. And I always go back and look at this chart sometimes just to reflect. And that's why in my new strategy, especially after I went on paper for a little bit, I learned that if I'm going to do something like these first two are not bad. But see how she set a high here? Well, right when she sets a high here, instead of just covering half of my shares like I did on this thing, I should have covered all my shares and just stopped out and been done with the trade, right? Move on. But what did I do? No, I covered half my shares. I added them back at the top because it felt like she was done, which was actually lower than where I took these half off, which was just horrible in itself. And then she decided to keep going. And then so I covered some more and I tried to add back. And, I'm like covering half. Like I keep covering half. And there's a pattern. Like I'm adding and then covering. Like I was just being an idiot. I didn't know how to lose on this strategy because to that point, my strategy just kept working. And until it didn't. And that's why we ended up where we are on MTSI anyway. That was nasty. But so we went on paper soon after that because as you can see, we started bringing our way back up, but with a lot less size. And then we took a loss on TSC. And I'm pretty sure, this was a long. And this is why I just hate longs. I always pick the ones that don't bounce. And as you can see, pretty sure this was a 100, 100. I actually did 100 again. But then I sold them all down here because it just felt like she wasn't going to bounce. And I was right. So got lucky there. The real cut, if I was playing this not like a scaredy cat, this should have been 100, 100, 200. And then, I could have got rid of, say, half of my shares there. But then the real cut should have been under here. But is what it is. I actually got lucky on that one, playing it, the way I did. But then after that, I just realized that, I wasn't taking trades that I would normally take, and I was forcing myself to make trades that I didn't want to. Here was that other one, ARRY. As you can see, big move up, and look what it does. Just like, what is the name of the one so I can stop saying just like the one I just traded? NTR. Okay. So yeah, we had ARRY, and that was the same thing. Big move up. We tried to play it, and when she started going high a day, we should have just covered instead of recycling our shares over and over again. These weren't bad recycles, but we kept trying to fight it, like looking for this thing to break down. And when this made a high here, and this one actually wasn't bad because it was a big quick move up to high a day. But once it went past that, that's when we should have just covered our shares and stopped out. So, I mean, there's just so much to learn that I learned, like looking back at my journal, that a lot of people, like if you don't keep these, I mean, how are you ever going to know? And then you have VLRX. I remember this one. This was another one that just didn't bounce. Just, trying to catch the falling knife. Every time I get in, I feel the stock stall, but obviously it didn't stall to the point where she was ready to bounce. And then and this is more of what it should look like, where you see her finally breaking that key resistance and you stop out, or key support. But yeah, let me catch up on, let's see, taking profits, what makes you money. That's true. And yes, MMA style. Thomas knows me well. I'm trying to be like B, just fight everything. Yeah, it's the grinder runners that resist pullbacks. That's so true. And it's very frustrating when you get in one and it's hard to get out because it's just grinding and you're like, this thing's just going to fall. It's going to fall, and then it doesn't. But yeah, and then as you can see, I decided I'm going to take a month off. I went on paper for a month and I collected myself. I went back and reviewed all these trades. I realized what I was doing wrong. I figured out ways to fix them, find the holes in my game. And I like to think that I've been doing pretty good this month. Like we said, we're starting to get that curl back up. Hopefully we can really start to curl up a little bit more. And when we start to get these little dips are okay, as long as they're not sharp freaking declines like these guys. I mean, that can't happen. If you're going to be a good long-term trader, these cannot happen. I mean, that's no. Even if you could figure out how to make it half of this, which it shouldn't even be half. If anything, it should be less than a quarter of these drops. It's just knowing how to manage these losses. And I really think that I may have figured it out. I could have had a big loss on KPTI for a much different reason, but like CHGG and NTR, those were managed losses, and I felt good about them. NTR I didn't feel good about. I felt egotistical about, but it still wasn't a huge loss because, just look around it. Just real quick, look at all this green. Some of them are just wash trades, but you got 37, 52, 32, 40, 28, 21, all those negate that one loss, right? So if you have something that's working 90% of the time and you can make it where it's $30, $40, $50 every time, that one little 76 the other way isn't going to, make a dent at all, right? So that's the goal, is to get to that point. And I'm starting to get the confidence that we're there. We just really need to make it happen. Just to go over today real quick. This one was a pretty quick one. We already did go over that one. Court was the other one. This one was frustrating if you watched my video today, because I put orders in. This was a big pop right up the high of day. Felt like, okay, she might get rejected right at high day. We put our order in. We got in. And we put an order in at 12, I think it was 55 the first time, and we missed it by a penny. Yeah, because it went up to 54. And then we moved it up to 61, and it got to 59 twice and didn't get us at 61, and then she made this drop. And then we put a trailing stop of 17 cents at the point where high of day would have stopped us out. And sure enough, she makes this big drop, and then she pops up on this one candle, stops us out for pretty much break even because of the drop. And then look at what she did after that, because this is the move I was hoping to get, and only having 50 shares on this, I didn't want to just take profit too early. I was like, I really feel like this thing might fade. And she tried just after she stopped us out, and then she decided to go back up and go sideways for the rest of the day. So that is what it is. But yeah, so that was my month of July. It was, I'm pretty happy with it. I think we made a lot of progress. We're going in the right direction. Looking to really kind of build up, my share size a little bit, maybe take a couple bigger trades and go from there. So pretty happy with, how everything's going, except for, I've actually noticed, I've actually been wondering if YouTube has been messing with me a little bit. Sorry if you can hear my pug. He is out and snoring. But yeah, if you go back to this section, back when I made my short trader video, or about why you should be with CMEG and a short trader, which is basically just saying because of commissions. And I think I have links in the description if you are interested in the ISW scanners or CMEG. Feel free to check those out. Check this video out if you're curious about why CMEG is better than SureTrader, at least right now. I mean, they're doing better things, but it's mainly just for small accounts. It's all about the commissions. What can save you money in your wallets. But as you can see, like just I was getting good views, and then just like out of nowhere, I guess only my loyal guys started watching again, because I don't know, just kind of dropped off. I wonder if I was getting like suggested at some point for whatever reason, but need you guys to tell all your friends. Let's get up there. And we are at 336, so I'm pretty happy about that. When we get to 400, we'll be doing another giveaway of the ISW scanners. I'm going to do those to 500, and I'm not sure what we're going to do after 500. Probably the same thing. Giving away a week of the scanners is, some people just don't understand how powerful those things are. I mean, I kind of just showed you. Of course, this doesn't show. This is my full. I wonder if I do this. No, that would have been cool. Like if as you were doing this, it just kind of changed these. Let's do that. Let's go back to when I started. I remember CLF was the first trade I took with the new strategy using the scanners. Even though I didn't really have like a full, and this is including the MTSI trade. Was it really that long ago? Jeez. No, PTI, no, that was way back. How about we just search CLF? So 2/8, February 8th. That sounds about right. So February 8th. Okay. I'm an idiot. If I knew the date, why didn't I just type it in? Oops. 02, 08, 2019 until now. All right. So I'm basically at 90%. I'm at 89.25%, 83 and 10 since I started trading the new strategy. It's just them big losses, the big MTSI loss that really kind of screwed me, and the KPTI loss. So it's like if I could just figure that out, and man, look at those commissions. That's crazy. But I mean, yeah, so since I've started that strategy, I am technically up even after that loss with MTSI, because you got to remember I started down because of the OCX trade, but that was before I started using the strategy. And yeah, I was actually looking at this too. I think this is the first time I've actually done this, so I was kind of proud of myself. We'll just go, I guess we'll do it for real. I guess it would, until now is fine. But if you look at the portfolio return versus the S&P 500 return, look at that for the month of July. Yeah. Charts that show fast moves or long candles seem to be better with the ISW strat. That's basically what we're looking for. We're not looking for, support resistance type plays. I mean, technically you're looking for like resistance lines to play off of at some points. Like when you pull up the daily chart, you're looking for key levels. But really you're looking just for the big move. Like I can pull up pretty much, I think that was the part of the month I was telling you about, but that's going to tick me off. There we go. So like if you pull up pretty much any of my charts, you'll see, and I remember a couple of these where these are frustrating. I was taking half off looking for them to continue down. And it seems like every time I do that, they do this, and I end up stopping out of the rest of my shares at high of day, which are always good stops, because usually if they're going high of day after consolidation like this, they're going to, keep going. But then it's like the ones where I top tick something and then take my whole position, say right here, and then it just keeps on going. You're like, kind of like the one from today. What was it? Court? Or was it the other one? Yeah, it was the other one. NWO. So like this one, I top ticked it, took all my shares, and then look at what she did. So I guess frustrating. I did have one yesterday. I obviously probably didn't put the chart in there. Yeah, dang it. But that one actually worked out. You can always go watch the video. The grinders look like they're, yeah, What's the tags feature? I don't. Are you talking about when I input these? Like, I really don't. I mean, I guess I could put tags in there just to search for them, but I mean, I don't really. I think that's more for. Yeah, I guess it is just for yourself because you don't share on here. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could, but I mean, to me, it's not a big deal. If I'm ever looking for something, like I'll usually just like if I want to go study some bad charts or something, and look at what I've been doing wrong, I'll just click it by losers. You can do winners, you can do a bunch of different things. Largest winners, largest losers. I guess you could tag ones that are tagged as mistakes, but yeah, I don't really have a necessity for tags. But the main one I use is the losers, so that I can go back and kind of figure out what I did wrong. It's crazy when I click it too, because you're like, oh, look at all that red. Especially like usually they're bigger numbers. Like let's take a look at Arlo. So yeah, like something like this. This was actually a pretty bad trade looking at it like this, but I remember this thing being a really slow one. Yeah, look at this. Look at the volume on this thing. And I try to stay away from these, but sometimes there's days where I just feel like there's nothing to trade sometimes, and I kind of force a trade. Or sometimes this might have been one of the days where I missed a couple trades, and so I just found a BC setup and tried to trade it, and that's what happens. You usually end up losing on those. You are not authoritative content. What does that mean? Calling me out? You trying to say like I'm not yeah. I'm not one of the big guys. I hope to think that one day, everything I do is organic. I'm not about calling other people out to get views. I'm not about, all that kind of stuff. I will make funny videos here and there, like the one where I made the funny turn 5,000 into 250,000 or whatever. Yeah, it also has to do with the fact that I have a lower sub count too. So, but we've been doing really well with that. I wonder if this has let's see if this works. I wonder if this has like a graph. I know it usually keeps you up to date, but we have been doing pretty well. Yeah, this guy cracks me up. He's got one upload, he's got 82 subscribers, and he's got 63 video views. Like, how is that even possible? Let's see. Can you do it? Is there a graph? Yeah, okay. It's per month. Is this count? I'm confused. Is this counting monthly? This doesn't make sense. I feel like that should be, oops, what did I do? I don't even know how to go back now. Oh well. I'll refresh. I mean, but as you can see, we've been growing. So it's just taking us a little bit longer because we're, like you said, we're just not that big. I know, as you could see, there wasn't really, like, people don't necessarily leave, which is a good thing. I also like to think, I'm getting better every day at not only trading, but at, making the videos. Like, I have fun making the videos. Like, as you can see, like, they're all pretty much plus numbers. I thought you could go back further. Detailed statistics, maybe. So this, well, kinda. I don't know. I guess that it just goes through dry spells. Okay, here we go. So starting back in April, that's when I started the channel. So in 4 months, almost to the dot, I guess we're not doing that bad. It's just been a steady incline. So I guess I can't be upset with that. Just have to, I'm just kind of hoping there's some point where, we'll kind of get some people that realize, hey, maybe this guy is pretty cool. Only tells the truth, is pretty blunt about everything that he says, doesn't hide anything. I show you guys everything. You guys know that. Anything that you ask for, I show you. I'm not hiding anything, except, personal stuff. But when it comes to trading, comes to answering questions about my trading, comes to showing you my accounts, there's nothing to hide. Like the people that are hiding stuff like that, like they're hiding it for a reason, because they don't want you to see it, because, it's going to take away from their credibility. And to me, I got a different angle on that. If I show you everything, then I know in the future, you guys are going to know that I'm not hiding it. Like I don't have anything to hide. So as I grow, as we grow, as the channel grows, you'll know it's organic, and you'll know it's all truthful and all that good stuff. So that's really all there is to it. I mean, geez, that's a lot of videos in 4 months, man. And with 2 kids, just imagine. Yeah. But, I don't know I know Fridays are usually a bad day, for views, but for a little while there, I was getting excited because we were kind of averaging like 100 plus views a video. And this, caper, or the short, I feel like this one will get more views as we go, but this caper one got some views. But yeah. What is your goal to move up on share size, and what do you base your share size on? That's a very good question, Thomas. So what I've been basing my share size on is the range of a stock. So say I pull up NWL, and in this case I have the daily here because this is just my one chart setup. But let's scroll in here. Usually when I pull up the daily, I just look at like the last 6 months or so. But so immediately I would have pulled up, and I probably did on this. Oops. And I would have drawn a line like this. I usually will like throw a line on the chart, and then I'll start moving it, and I'll look for like spots where a lot of, like top ticks hit it. But I feel like I probably just went off of this one right here. And so $16, that was like my main area that I was looking for. But again, when you get these big moves, so we were at 1550 area on this. So I'm basically saying, okay, I'm willing to start here because of the move it made, willing to add up to that $16 area. And if she doesn't want to reject there, which is a key resistance point on the daily, then I'm done. And so what I'll say there is, okay, 50 cents is what I'm looking to risk, but I'll look at how quickly the stock is moving. So as you can see, this thing went from 91 to 1477. So it's a pretty quick mover, but the float on this thing was a lot higher. I think the float on this thing was like 420 million or something like that. So I'm basically looking, and it's kind of a formula that you'll kind of figure out on your own that's based upon your particular trading strategy. But I'm mainly looking for what, like a drop, like a pullback, which is usually like, if this candle went up to where it did over 15, you would say like a good pullback would be to like midway through this candle, or like to VWAP or something like that. So I'm basically looking for what, like my quota on a stock, which at this point was $50, how many shares I would have to take to get to that point. So I actually had my order in here for 100 shares because I was looking for it to get down to that like 1460 area above the $50, which would have gave me my $50 quota. And it did, but it just didn't fill me up here by 3 cents. So AB equals CD. Are you saying this did an ABCD pattern? A, B, there's no C though. The length of the moves, A, B, is that the complicated equation? But yeah, I mean, essentially I'm basing it off the range. So like, Court was the other one today. So like on a move like this one, It was pretty much the same kind of thing. I'm basically just looking for how big the move that it made. And so if it made a move of, what was that, MYGN, was that the crazy one that was moving? Yeah, like look at this thing. This thing's moving points at a time, right? So this one went from 44.47 to 46.28, so almost 2 points in one candle and on like no volume. So obviously these are dangerous. Like something like this, if I were to try to trade it for whatever reason, I'd only be probably taking like 25 shares right now, if that, because I would only need you would for a 2 point move. That's a lot. Length of move A to B equals length of C to D. I have absolutely no clue what you're getting at, Anne. Is this something that you've come up with, or that's just something I've never heard of, so I'm asking. Yeah, I'm not calling you out or anything. I'm just genuinely interested. It's just a pattern that you've kind of picked up on. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that's good. Oh, no. All right, I'm back to clueless. I remember Roku was moving a lot today too. But yeah, just to show you, so like a range like this, where you're going from 100 all the way up to 103. So obviously that's not, 70 to 80 cents, it's 3 points. So you adjust, to me, if I were to play something like this, I'm adjusting my share size accordingly, where I'd probably be starting with like 25 shares or something, where right now, and to be honest, how I've been trading these, I know I've been having a lot of 50 share trades, but it's because I've been top ticking them, and it's very frustrating. I call it the Kevin Avery syndrome because he complains about top ticking stocks. What was the name? NWL? Yeah. So as you can see, I basically top tick this thing. My order was at, what was it at? 1544, and the stock got to 1548. So I got into this with 50 shares, and I had an order at 1555 for another 50 shares. So my starting position I wanted was 100 shares, but I only got 50 because it didn't continue its move. So that's been my strategy as of the last couple of days, where I'm trying to, determine a starting position, and we get to a key area that is usually used as a key resistance, which a $0.50 whole dollar is kind of what I like to use. And sometimes I'll get into a trade before the $0.50 just in case she doesn't want to break that $0.50. And if she does, then I just get the full position that I was looking for to begin with, right in the middle at 1550, and I'm happy with that as a starter. So essentially that's what I've been doing, but a lot of these aren't going through those key resistance. Like this week, there's been really no follow through, and I've just been getting my starters and top ticking them. So I'm not upset about it. It just gives me smaller wins, but that is what it is, and I'm not going to be upset about it. All right, Google image search, ABCD. I feel like I'll just do it up here, but AB equals CD. This, you want to see something funny? This is what I get probably because of my kids. Google image search. Maybe that'll change things. I mean, this is what I was thinking you were saying, the ABCD pattern. I mean, is that what you were saying? The length of the moves A to B equals C to D. Or like image 3, this one. So, okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying the pullback's going to be smaller, and then the extension's going to be the same as the candle before. Is that basically what you're saying? Gotcha. So, I mean, and in a way, this is kind of proof. I mean, this is on a 2-minute, so it's probably a little bit different. Let's see. I mean, not really. Like, I can see what you're saying. So, like, on this candle, it's a pretty big candle. Let's draw some lines, just out of curiosity. So, and then we'll say, well, actually, I guess it would be, I mean, see, that's where it differs, because that's why it's hard to use that, because of your, it's pretty close though if you still look at it, because then your pullback is here. So you got a big candle, then about half of that candle, and then another big candle, which it's bigger, but not that much bigger. But so you would be going from, I mean, this was just a really big first candle. So from this one to here, then back down to here. So this is the half, and then from here to here. But to get the AB equals CD, it would have had to have been more like up here from this one to that one. But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Move to, yeah, at the bell you get so much like crazy volume that it's hard to really find patterns. It's more of just kind of feel and price action at that point. So let's try that. So let's go from here to here, and then our pullback is to here, so it's about halfway, and then up to here. So same thing, pretty close. You get more, like you said, but not too much more. But yeah, no, that's pretty good. And this is where you'll see me look for key. Like I do this all the time, and that's why I took my exit here, because I was looking for, the volume actually came in on this move, so I kind of assumed that it was, and it stalled out like right here for about 3 or 4 seconds. I assumed it was going to try to use this as support and continue higher, because it wasn't really that extended after the pullback here. So I didn't really want to hold on to it and stop out. So I just took my quick profit and was done with it. So when she continued down, I was upset, but I wasn't that upset. And as you can see, it was just a pullback because this thing decided to continue anyway. But yeah, that was an interesting one. But yeah, I see what you're saying too. I mean, I do see that a lot, but I feel like as long as you're drawing support resistance lines, I mean, to me those are really just the key lines that you should draw. Because I try to tell everyone, back when I was trading spaghetti, Kenobi, if you're still here, sorry, but if you're trading with like all the EMAs on your charts, if you're trading with Fibonacci lines, name an indicator, eventually those indicators are going to be right at some point. You got like the 9 and the 20, you got like the 200. They're some of the main ones that people use. Some people even use the 50 and the 100. At one point I was using Bollinger Bands, the 9, the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200, and then I was using the 2, the 3, and the 7, because they call those the alligator indicators. So it'll show you like the quicker, more precise moves. And I couldn't even look at my chart. Like it was like, and I had different colors for each one of them, so I knew exactly which one they were. And it was just stupid. And I was trading on the 1 minute chart. If I literally just clicked over to the 2 minute chart, all of those lines were different, like completely different, like by like 10, 15, 20 cents. So it's like, to me, I'm thinking everyone's looking at these same lines. But if they're even just looking at a 2 minute chart or a 3 minute chart, 5 minute chart, 15 minute chart, an hourly chart, like they're completely different. But what indicator is the same on every chart? The one that you see on my chart, the VWAP. So yeah, it's yeah, it's so true. Like I keep the 200 on the daily, because out of all the indicators I've seen get the most either support or resistance and like actually use it as such, is the 200 on the daily. It's the only one I've really seen get used over and over again. Like, let's see if we just scroll back here. Like, look at this. She came up over here, didn't quite get there, came back up, used it again, came back up, used it again. Like, it's the only indicator I've seen that like gets respected more than any of the others. I mean, obviously at some point it was above this before the huge downtrend, but I mean, like, look, bounce off of it, little fake out, bounce off of it, again, bounce off of it, and then she got under, went back over. So obviously this one doesn't, and again, that's the other thing with EMAs is I can sit here and show you every time that it works, but I'm just going to be like, oh, it didn't work here and just dismiss it. Well, that's what people do with all these other EMAs every day. They're looking for the 9 and the 20 to work. And when it doesn't work, they just forget about it because they're just trying to think of the times that it does work. Swing chart traders VWAP. Yeah, I mean, VWAP is really the key intraday, and there is one thing I missed. I'm actually just going to show it to you guys. On Thinkorswim, I came across a guy. His name's Zach on Twitter. I think he calls himself like the VWAP or something. But he had something really cool, and he hooked me up with it. And I'm going to show it to you guys real quick. But it was basically the average VWAP for the week. So you could take a chart. Of course, get out of my way. So you could take a chart, say, what was it, NWL that we were on today? And let's go to 5-day, 2-minute. We'll scroll out. And here it is. This yellow and purple, which, I thought I had changed that. Let's do, it should be green and red. So what this is doing, and I still, as you can see, I still have the intraday VWAP on there, but VWAP resets every day, right? Well, he came up with a formula where he calls it adaptive VWAP. So it's keeping the average price for the time frame that you have selected. So like right now I have 5 days selected. So this line is actually the VWAP for the last 5 days. So as you can see, this stock is super extended, where intraday, it actually was coming back to the VWAP like this. But look how far extended it is from its, I'll call it the weekly VWAP, right? So, and look how, it pretty much sticks to this thing because, it's the average price. So, and now if we go to, let's do the 10-day, 2-minute, it's kind of the same thing. But as you can see, it was obviously not a heavily traded stock at most points, but she gets super extended, and you see the intraday VWAP, and look at it, it comes right back down to the adaptive VWAP, right? So it's just one of them things. And like even here, I don't know why this thing gapped up. It's probably earnings or something. But she was just coming in. Look how far extended down this was. This is probably a great buy point, even if there wasn't something coming out or whatever it was. Just because of how extended she was. Even if you're looking for like a bounce to the intraday VWAP, look how far extended she was from the overall adaptive VWAP. So, right, exactly. It doesn't reset each day. And that's one, I hate using Thinkorswim. I hate how slow it is. But this is one thing that I can't get anywhere else. Yeah, you can. You can actually look at it on, let's do 20-day 5-minute. So the formula is set to whatever day that you choose. And it's really cool. So like this is the 5-minute over 20 days. And as you can see, this thing got really extended to the downside, came back up. And that's the other thing is a lot of people intraday, like let's scroll into this day in particular. Look at the move this thing makes, but look at when she starts to get rejected, right at that adaptive VWAP. And look how extended she was. So if you use these two together, like you're using intraday VWAP and you're using the adaptive VWAP, this would have been a great short to start here. And then I probably, without this adaptive VWAP, I'm probably cutting right here. But knowing that this is here, it could be something that, okay, maybe you can take one more stab at an add here. And then if shit doesn't work out, then you cut if it goes high a day again, which it actually ended up doing. So again, it's just like any indicator. And that's what so many people are like, oh, this is the God indicator, blah, 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 blah. But there's no one indicator that's going to work for everybody. It really comes down to how you use your indicators, your strategy, all that good stuff. There's no easy way to beat the market. It's all about figuring out your way, your edge to beat the market. Would you say that you get better entries and exits with CMEG over TOS? Well, I've never used TOS, so I don't know. The only time I've used TOS is just for like practicing on demand, and yeah, that's it. On demand and paper trading. And there, I mean, even with paper trading, it just sucks. I mean, there's times where like you hit this buy market button if you're not like, and that's the other thing too. Like their trading system just sucks. Like it's so hard to kind of set up doing limit orders, but you can, I mean, it's really not like if you use this thing, cause you could just click on it at a certain price. It's actually pretty easy, but, it's just so slow. But like sometimes you'll hit buy market and the thing will just like fluctuate. And it's like, well, what's going on? Are you filling me? Like I hit market order. Like, shouldn't you be filling me right away at the current market price? And it's just like your bobbers like going up and down. You're like, what's going on? But I will tell you with CMEG, I mean, every time I hit the button, I mean, I've never had a problem getting filled. I mean, and I think a lot of that has to do with just DOS in general, just how quick the routes are via DOS. It's very simplistic. But that is one thing I wish I could put on these charts was that adaptive view app, because I feel like that would be a really cool feature to have. But I don't think you can do custom formulas like that. Sometimes they match your orders with, yeah. So, I mean, I don't even know because I don't care about TOS. I would never use TOS as a real broker. I don't know how, I used to follow Connor on YouTube, and he uses that and he markets in and out. And I'm just like, bro, you're basically like handing money away using them. I just don't understand how people can use them. I mean, I will always use DOS. I don't care which broker I'm with. Hopefully when I get up to where I don't need to use PDT. I mean, to be honest, the way CMEG is going with their commissions, I mean, if they can keep hooking me up with the commission structure, you know, that we're with, if we can get it a little bit better, and hopefully as we grow with people signing up under my name and we get a bunch of people under my belt, we can get everyone a better commission. Because they basically told me on the phone, I can't get too much into the contract, but he basically told me the more people that we have signed up under me, you know, the more business that we're bringing to CMEG, that eventually we can, you know, drop the commission rate. So say it's at $295 now. Say we get like 400 or 500 people under my name, which would be just outstanding. Maybe it goes down to $195. And guess what? You just wake up one day and say you're one of the first 500 that were under my name. When that happens, it gets activated to your account. That's what he was telling me. So like you could just wake up one day and instead of $295 trades, you get $195 just for signing up under my name. So that could be pretty cool. Yeah, and I mean, how awesome is that, AN, right? I mean, because they are. And SureTrader better get on point, because CMEG is definitely doing their job and getting the lower commissions, and they're losing a lot of business because of it. Because, I mean, again, one last thing real quick, I'll show you on the calculator. On a normal month, you know, I'll trade, just say, well, here, what did I trade this month? That's the wrong one. I can't click the right. Did I get rid of it? Oh, no, it's right here. I'm an idiot. Is this still July? All right. Well, we'll just subtract the 2 from that. 'Cause I think it was 28 or something, right? Or whatever. So total trades. So we'll just say 130 just for kicks. So 130 times 495 at SureTrader. 130 times 295. That's just absolutely ridiculous. So 643.50 minus 383.50. So in a typical month, I'm saving $260 just in commissions to do the same thing. Like, get out of here, SureTrader. Like, get with it. I mean, it's just absolutely nutso. But yeah, that's really all I got to say about SureTrader at this moment. I mean, the one thing I liked about SureTrader that CMEG doesn't have is their live chat. That's the only thing. CMEG is not very good at returning emails, but if you call them, I mean, they pretty much take care of whatever the problem is right then and there. So I've never really had an issue with getting something solved with CMEG. It's just a matter of not having the live chat. It's the only thing I would, if CMEG had a live chat, I mean, I would just be shoving CMEG down everyone's throat. Like, why are you not with CMEG? If you have a small account and you're a SureTrader, you should definitely be with CMEG. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would you, I mean, even if you're only doing, let's say 50 trades, like if you're not, a big trader, 50 times 295, it's still $100. It's $100. I mean, that's $100 that you could use the trade, It just doesn't make any sense. And I've tried to get Trading Monkey to switch. I got banned or not banned. Like I could still watch his live stream. But I guess he was telling me his son, like muted me on the live stream, because I had posted a link to my CMEG video, basically saying why you shouldn't be with SureTrader, you should be with CMEG because of the commissions, and all that. I even remember like telling him that same day that he needs to change to CMEG just for the commit. Because how many times do you see Monkey make a trade, right? And he ends up making like $10 or $8 on the trade, and he's happy about it. But in reality, he just lost $2, right? He's realized $8, but $10 in commissions, you're down $2. And he would do it over and over again. And then it's like when he has them losing trades, like he's had the last few days or whatever, where it's like $50 and like $40, like, and then you're adding $10, $20 depending on your share size. It's like, come on, man. Yeah, I know, but hey, what am I here to do? I'm here to help. So I try. I actually am the one that got him set up with his live stream. Like I helped him get that all set up, and it kind of went he was very ungrateful about it. So that was kind of frustrating. On DOS, can you adjust your order on the chart? Will it put a line and you grab that line and move it down or up? No. Basically what I do, like say we just pull up NWL, this is what comes up in my montage. I have it now to where my share is blank, because before I had it set to like 200 or 300, standard, and I got tired of, trying to adjust that. So now it's just blank. So I have to look at the chart, determine the range, and then determine my share size. So it prevents me from just pulling up a chart and saying, okay, let's just get in. I don't care what my share size is. So say I want to start with 100 and say I'm looking for a move up through 1550. I would basically, like, I can click here and I would adjust it and hit short. And then it would come up here and it would sit, and it will put a hollow arrow. So like, see how these are filled red? It'll be like a red outlined arrow. And it's kind of empty, so you'd see black in the background, which I think, and it does the same with the green. I mean, you get the idea. There's examples in my videos, I think even from today, for covering an order. Yeah, because I got stopped out because I had the trailing stop on the one. Here, I'll just show you real quick. Let me take a sec. So yeah, like see how it's up here? It's like a hollow. It's actually a white background, green candle. So that was for my cover, and then it would be like a hollow with a red outline for that. And to answer the second part of your question, basically to move your order, since you already have everything up in here, you would just hit cancel, and then like you can just scroll and do it like that, like real quick. Or you could just scroll, do it real quick, and then hit cancel on your other order, like, just whatever you get comfortable with. So essentially you can't drag on the chart, but I mean, it's pretty simple once you get used to doing it in the montage. As far as say I'm at 55. I'm not liking the way that it's kind of sitting at like 49.50, and I think when it does pop through 50, it's going to go up to 60. Just cancel, boom, boom, short. So it's real quick. It might actually even, I wouldn't say be quicker, but dragging a line, sometimes you don't get the exact price you're looking for, et cetera, et cetera. But any other questions? I'm actually going to look to head out here. I didn't realize it was already past 11 o'clock. I guess knowing that I don't have to wake up tomorrow until the wife wakes me up is nice. It's nice to get days like that every once in a while. I'm so stoked. I'm just going to show you guys. I'm real close to get a master node for CRCT, you need 500,000. And yeah, we're sitting pretty on almost being there. Just need to get some more coming in. I actually might, let me pull up, I've been actively trying to trade it. CRCT came out on Barack, which is the platform, trading platform they're on. Holy crap. Oh, I didn't get it. Oh, man. Oh, wait. How much volume was this? 3 point. I guess I can look over here. So someone bought like 100 or sold. Yeah, they sold 100 and then sold. So it really wasn't that much. Yeah, I actually have 210,000 sitting here looking to buy using my Bitcoin that I have. Sitting here at 1 Satoshi. I wonder if I actually have any in my portfolio. No, I don't have any CRCT in there. But I have a little bit of Bitcoin left. Most of it's sitting there waiting to buy up the rest of this CRCT. Trying to get some masternode staking going. If you guys don't know what CRCT is, they're actually going live tomorrow. Let me pull that up just to give them a little bit of a shout out. If you want to get in their Discord, check them out a little bit. They're always doing cool stuff. Here's their website. If you want to pull that up while I'm checking this out real quick. Trying to just get, I thought they had it set up already. Where are you at? Yeah, here it is. So that's their website. Real quick, they're going live tomorrow at 9:30 as well. So 22 hours from now. If you want to check them out, they're going to be talking about like what they are, what the project's about. Jonathan, the guy, Lone Wolf Day Trading, that was in here earlier, really close friend. He's one of the co-founders of the coin, and yeah, they're going to be killing it. So I know this guy. He is dedicated. So when he puts his mind to something, it's going to go places. And I love the idea that racing is the key theme behind this. I grew up and love racing. I still love racing. I grew up watching NASCAR. That is what it is. They kind of went downhill. Still watch Formula One. Used to always watch dirt bike racing, but they're looking to just get into anything and everything racing. I dragged race for a long time. Had cool cars growing up. Had a cool car until I had a kid. But yeah, you want to check them out. There's the website, circuitsociety.io. And if you want to check them out, Circuit Coin is their YouTube channel. And they'll be doing a nice little presentation tomorrow night to kind of just get everyone, up on current events and, where their project is headed. It's 10 by me if that helps. No, it doesn't help me, Thomas, because if it was 10 here, that would be nice, because it would mean I just did all of that in a half an hour, and I'd still have all this time to do other stuff, like play Rocket League or something. But, yeah, I don't really have anything else for you. 8, West Coast. Where at on the West Coast are you? I know B, my mentor from ISW, he's in San Diego. Lucky guy. Gets the best weather all the time. Oh, you're in San Diego too? Are you B? You're in disguise? Hey, Mr. K, what's up? Yeah, feel free. Feel free to email me. Ask Thomas. I'm all up for helping anybody out that we can. That's how Thomas started, and Thomas is absolutely killing it. I mean, this guy posts charts all day of just murdering trades. I mean, just straight up murdering them. Trade Ideas is in San Diego. Yeah, don't mention Trade Ideas to B. He might murder you. I don't want to say, like, I can't say that on stream, can I? He wouldn't murder you. B is like one of the coolest guys. But he does not like Trade Ideas. If just to talk about the scanners real quick, ISW scanners are so much better than Trade Ideas for just one simple reason. Trade Ideas, they literally, like, if you have a scanner up, it will just go crazy, right? Just giving you every single stock that's doing anything, right? That somewhat fits your parameters and you think it's doing something. You have to pull up countless charts and you're like, this thing isn't doing anything. Well, guess what? With ISW, all it does is bring up charts where you're getting these big, intense moves, right? They're the ones you care about. I mean, so if I can give you why ISW is better than Trade Ideas, and until you see, I've been trying to incorporate in my videos, like, let me bring up just the video. I just started doing this yesterday, but just to show you guys, when I'm bringing a trade up, I don't know, how am I going to be able to see it without actually, I guess I can hit the arrows. Come on. So like MTDR, like just for instance, like when it's, I mean, this isn't even up on this, like the big number, like this is only at 10, but look at the move it's making. Like you want to see these up like near the 20s. Let me see if I can, I know I highlighted the one. Yeah, like see how VHC, see how they start highlighting in yellow? When they're doing that, that means they're going nuts. And like that's when you want to pull them up. So I ended up taking a trade there on MTDR. IRM was the other one, so it was before this. I thought I had pulled it up. Okay, here we go. So like just watch, this is what we see on the scanners. So like I had pulled IRM up because when it's a higher price stock and it's near like 15 like it is, you'll see that it's absolutely just going nuts. Like look at the move this thing made. Where Trade Ideas, it'll just give you any type of alert for something that just like kind of made like a quick little move. And it's like, what am I looking at? Like this chart is not worth looking at. And in the algorithm for these scans, there's all sorts of different things. Like it takes volume into consideration. It takes overall liquidity into consideration. So it won't show you charts where like the average daily volume is below a certain point, because if the average daily volume is below a certain point and say you want to get into a trade and you're more of a swing trader and like you're looking to hold it for a couple of days, you might actually have problems getting out of the trade if it goes for you or against you because of liquidity issues. So like, Trade Ideas doesn't do that. They're just showing you everything. So it's like you really get a lot from this from ISW that you wouldn't get. Yeah, here's the thing. That's what I was incorporating. That you wouldn't get from Trade Ideas. So I do not trade options, but as you see, I started doing this thing where it kind of highlights just to show you like what I'm seeing in real time. So it's like until you really sit and see these things in action, so a lot of people just don't understand, and it's a moving thing. Like it's just like this number's constantly moving, so you can constantly see like what these stocks are doing. So like TWOU, was, it was kind of going nuts, but now it's really going nuts. And then like if that number kept going up, you would be like, holy crap, this thing is like really going nuts. Like I should pull up the chart. But I knew, and sometimes you'll see like a bunch of them going crazy. Ones that are in the red, I usually don't trade. I'm looking for ones that are green on the day. So I won't ever pull those up. And then sometimes I won't pull these up because I know I can't short them. Like I won't have bars available. So like right here, Ruby, I had already pulled that up earlier in the day, even though it's absolutely going nuts. So it's like with trade ideas, like you're getting alerts on all the ones that like all of these, right? Because they're all doing something. But these you can sit here and just pick right off the top. Like it's basically has the best options rise to the top. That's really the best way that I can describe it. And until you see it on a daily basis, like again, you could ask Thomas. You don't understand. Like instead of taking something off trade ideas that could be like a C setup, and you just think, okay, well, it came off the scanner, like it's got to be good, right? Like you can sit here and just nitpick A and B setups, or A plus and A setups all day. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, Thomas is actually really good at switch hitting, and what he means by that is going long and short. And I don't know. Every time I go long, I tend to pick the wrong ones. So I don't know. I'm very short biased. I just find them a lot easier. They say longs take longer, and sometimes longs just don't work. I found that sometimes when stocks are dipping, they tend to just keep dipping, and I don't know. I'm not very good at playing those. And I just have a niche for shorting the top. So I've just been sticking with that, and I'm going to master that first, and then I'll maybe become a switch hitter. But yeah. But yeah, Mr. K, you can trade options with these scanners. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. And it does play the higher price stocks. There's a few $100 stocks that pop up on there all the time. And when a $100 stock pops up on that scanner, something is going nuts. Because that's the only thing that's why I have two scanners. I have one for $20 and below, and then one for $20 and up, is because that intensity number for a higher price stock to really get a higher number, it needs to really make a big move. So that's why I have it set to show me those on a separate scanner so that I can see the higher price stocks that are moving a lot easier. I want to learn how to use the reverse button. I've been mentioning that in the ISW weekly videos that I've been making for the ISW page. If you guys want to check those out, I've been doing a top 10 on the Intensity Stock Watch YouTube channel for the week. I've actually been mentioning that, because I'm usually pretty good at picking the bottoms, like when I exit, and I'm like, I start saying to myself, well, if I was a professional and I had balls, say I top ticked here and I got out towards the bottom, it's like, well, why didn't I just reverse my position, right? Because, that would be amazing. Be able to reverse your position and then play the move right back up. But I don't have balls or the account size for that yet, or the emotional capacity. And now you guys are going to hear my Roomba. That must mean it's 11:15. I thought I had that stuff for 11:15, but it must be 11:18. Random number. But yeah. So that was my little tangent on the scanners and why Trade Ideas sucks. I was going to say, how did that start? Ann said he was in San Diego and that's where Trade Ideas is, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, I wanted to see if Jonathan said anything. Nope. Jonathan's such a good guy. Ride them down and ride them up. You can grow them. I will grow them. Trust me. I haven't got there just yet. I'll get there. I do believe one day I will be on the long side as well, because there's really when you get those big intense moves down, there's really no reason not to play them. Most of the time, as long as you, and that's the other thing with ISW too, is you have to realize that it's to get you to bring the chart up. Because a lot of times these, the scanners will tell you to bring them up, say like on this candle here. And a lot of times it's early. Like the move it's making, the scanner is designed to catch the move early so that you have time to pull the chart up and watch the chart go and then get in. So, I mean, it was pretty perfect. Say it gave you the alert at the top of this candle, 1477. It went to 1512. So it gave you time to pull the chart up, watch it make its move, and went right to a key area, the whole $1.15, and got rejected. I mean, what more could you ask for? Where a trade idea is, that thing could alert you like right when it breaks like this candle here at 1425, and it gives you the alert at 1427, and now you're like, well, what am I looking at? Where when you pull the chart up off an alert up here at 1477, I mean, look at this move that I made. You're like, okay, I see what's going on here. And that's what ISW is just flat better at. And it doesn't, Trade Ideas has no way to really compete with what ISW offers. It's really that simple. Yeah, but are you really going to get long up here? Like right here? I mean, that's asking for trouble. I mean, to me, that would be FOMO. You'd be chasing right over the whole dollar. You're breaking. And that's the thing. If it's not giving you the signal until right here, by the time on Trade Ideas you pull that up, like it's already kind of moving without you, like say up in here. And obviously, this is the first candle, so who knows, how quick it's moving. But exactly. It's complete hindsight trading. But yeah, if Trade Ideas is getting you to pull it up here, and then sure enough, in the moment, it could easily just drop down if you're taking that as a buy signal. And honestly, unfortunately, that's what Mullet Man does. So, but he always gets bailed out by his chat room after I just said I wasn't going to talk bad about anybody. Questions. I see some new people coming in. Feel free to ask any questions. That's kind of the segment that we're in right now, right before we kind of shut it down. So if you have any questions, please let me know. We'd be more than happy to answer them. Oh, that was not what I meant to hit. Mr. K, if you're still here, not sure. Did you email me? No, I didn't get an email from you. So if you want to send me an email, it's in the About section on my YouTube. I guess I can just throw it in here too. Wouldn't make any sense not to. If you're still in here. Make sure I spelled that right. Yeah. Ask me a good question, somebody. Somebody kill me, please. Put a bullet in my head. Anybody know that movie? You need to learn to trade options. When I first started trading, I actually thought about it. And I don't know if you guys are on Reddit, but I found a subreddit just called Stocks. And if you go on there and you see the amount of people that play options, you'll see some people that are like, oh, I just turned $200 into $30,000, or I just turned $400 into $4,000. And it's tempting. But think of if they're turning $400 into just say $4,000, how quickly you can go the other way. So, yeah, I will practice one day to ride them up on the alert and then hit the reverse button and ride it down and then back up. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too with ISW scanners. I mean, if you're all about FOMOing into trades, I mean, they're perfect for that because they're gonna get you to bring the chart up when it's making a big move. And sometimes it'll bring up like you'll see the low floaters on the smaller priced one, and it'll have like a big move and then like a pullback, like a legit pullback, and that would be a great entry. Like, so sometimes if that's what you're looking for, I mean, ISW delivers there too. Like, say this had this candle here, this pulled back down like to here, that typical previous resistance being used as support. And that's a perfect, and VWAP's there too. Perfect buy signal right there. Buy off VWAP, buy off previous resistance using as support, and look for a move higher. I mean, there's really no reason you can't trade that way as well. Sorry, I'm just looking at some things in my emails. Yeah. So questions. Ask them. It says there's 10 of you in here. I don't think I'm any of them. No. I think I was one of them earlier by accident. I didn't know I had it up in my other browser. But I'll give it to 11:30, and unless we get some questions rolling in, and if we don't, then I'll just get out of here. In what aspect, Zelisk? You want to narrow that down, or are you just talking about overall? Because I'll just answer it in an overall sense, and then if you want further, being a father, I have two. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. I mean, they are literally the meaning of my life. Like, what really got me wanting to master the stock market was me wanting to provide a life for my kids that I didn't have. To be able to take my kids around the world and show them the world, because I never got to do that. So not only would I get to provide that to them, but I would get to experience it with them, and it would be the first time for me as well. So there's a lot of drive behind me with it, from my kids. Like I can't, it was like a light switch when I had my first kid. I went from, just a lazy person, honestly. Like my whole life I've been a little bit lazy, and I would procrastinate, just with pretty much everything. And, having a kid, you don't have that you literally don't have that option anymore. Like you're forced to step up to the plate. And that's why, there's two types of dads. You either have a supportive dad who steps up to the plate, or you end up with deadbeat dads. And there's really no in between, to be honest. I mean, either you fall in love with your kid or you don't. It's that simple. So if you want anything further specific about that, I would be happy to answer. I love talking about my kids. Of course there's downsides to kids. So if you want to hear about those, I'm more than happy to tell you about them. So you never answered, when is your goal to up the share size? Well, I actually planned on doing it today. Like I wanted to, but I didn't really get the chance. And Fridays kind of freaked me out. And then, as you know, Thomas, the happening in the chat room this morning, that's why I didn't. This was my first trade, and it was almost 10 o'clock. That almost never happens. But I kind of got spooked out of this trade after not getting my order hit, which is a little bit frustrating. When I was a computer salesman. So to answer you, Thomas, I'm really going to look. And when I say step it up, like if I was starting with 50 shares, I'm going to probably look to take 75 shares. If I, on a chart, am looking to start with 100 shares, I'm going to start with 150 shares. Like I'm not just going to go from like 100 to 500 or 100 to even 200. Like I've been making pretty good profits, like with what I've been doing. So if I just step it up a little bit, and I can make more profits. And then if I'm just trading the same strategies, eventually I'll just keep stair-stepping my way up, just like a grinding stock, an annoying grinding stock that just keeps making money. That's what I'm looking to do. Let me tell you, being a father is great, but a grandfather is awesome. Yeah, because my grandparents or my parents tell me this all the time. It's like they get to basically have the kids all over again, and then when they're done with them, they just give them back. When I was a computer salesman, the boss said the best salesmen have kids. I can see that, because, and I think what he was getting at is you basically have to persuade your kid so much. Like, to get my kid to go to school Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he wakes up pretty much every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday saying he doesn't want to go to school. So my whole morning routine is finding little things to get him to go to school. So I'm basically persuading him in a different way every single day when he has school, to basically get him into the car. And once I get him into the car, it's how do I keep him happy now that he knows he's going to school? When we get to school, how do I get him out of the car to get him into school? When we get to his classroom within school, how do I get him to be happy enough to not cry while I'm leaving? It's I can see where he's coming from with that. Slowly increment size when you're stuck lower size until you get your confidence again. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going for. Slowly. When was this? Oh, when you suck lower size. Yeah, no, that's totally true. If you have like a big loss, you should totally drop your share size until you get your confidence back and then increase. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Like I had that month off, and I had the whole KPTI thing happen. So that was kind of what I did. I dropped my share size, but I'm actually like, again, if you go back and watch all my trades, I'm making like $50 on 50 shares. Like that means I'm getting a point on these shares at somehow, or if I'm starting with 50 shares and then I'm adding 50 shares. So I end up with 100 shares and I'm ending up with, $40-$50 on a trade. Like, so if I can do that, if I just up it just that little bit, now I'm making, say 50% more than I was making before, that's a lot. It's a big difference, instead of trying to just double it right away, because when you double it, that means your losses would double. So if you end up with a loss like right away, it kind of screws you. So it's and that's what happened with the MTSI trade. Do I short penny stocks? I do. The penny, my scanner, I'll just bring up my scanners real quick. I'll show you my setup. Actually, while that's loading, let's do this. I'll just show you like my full setup during the day. Yeah, people still trade them. I mean, I usually don't trade them throughout the day. But I'm not going to turn them down if there's something that's crazy. But the only problem with penny stocks is the range, and the range is the main reason you won't necessarily see me trading them. So if I show you the scanners, here we go. So this is what my scanner monitor looks like. And as you can see, like here's the negative I3 scan. So these find the ones that are making the moves down. And so as you can see, I usually have this one set to 0.25 and 20. And then, or I guess I can just show you this. So this is the I3 number over here. So when it goes to that 20 point, it'll highlight it yellow. And same with over here. So this is my $20 stock window. So anything over 20 up to 160, and over here I just left the max, but I probably should make this 20. I've never done that. I've never really thought to do it, but I guess usually it'll just show up on both. Like if for some reason when these reset, just this resets. I don't know why, but it does. But that's actually a good idea. I might actually try that. So that way only up into 20 it'll show me. But for now it was like if something over 20 was like going crazy, and say it was at like 20 or 30 or whatever on the I3, it would just show up on top of both. But I guess this way I can just, that's actually a really good idea. Or I was just showing you that and you couldn't even see it. I was basically saying if something was going crazy on that was over $20, it would be on the top on both. But the way, if I set it up like this, it'll actually not do that. So that's pretty cool. I thought about that. Yeah, 2 to 19. But yeah, penny stocks, they show up on here. It really depends on what you just set them in price to. And yeah, I just tend not to trade them, because usually when you pull those up, to really trade them, you have to take big size. Like you'd have to take like 2,000 shares to really get the same kind of move that you could get with 50 shares on something like this, where it's, a $26 stock. And to me, penny stocks are just a lot more manipulated. So I don't know. I just found that they're not the best things to trade. Now, if you want to transform penny stocks into low float stocks, I do tend to be scared by low float stocks, but I do trade them. Some people consider like 20 million low float. I'm talking like the 2, 3, 4, 5 million, or even lower, the micro floats. But those, you just have to, if you're going to trade those, you really just have to have a tight stop, because you can't look to just, play a add type strategy on those, because as we all know, through insert low float stock that went absolutely bonkers on any given day, they can just do that, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So I keep forgetting I'm on the other screen. But yeah, so it's just absolutely nuts. Yeah, AWX, HUNT. If you guys remember, HUNT went up to like 112 or something like that, got halted on the way down at like 95, and they got delisted like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks later. So it's like, and that's the thing with those low float stocks, you just don't know, long and short, because like if you get stuck in it short, right, and riding up, blows your account up as it's going up, and then just absolutely drops off the face of the map. And like all the people that were FOMOing into that trade as it was going up, saying, oh, this thing's going from 10 to 100, just like that other stock, like AWX or whatever. Again, insert random low float stock. But then they all get smashed and they blow up accounts on the way back down. So it's like, to me, I found a nice niche in the like 30 million to like 100 million float area. And as you can see on the scans, I guess all these stocks are over 20. That's why they're on both. I thought if I change, maybe it's because they're in standby mode. That's why. But it shows you the floats on these stocks. So like when they're going nuts on the scanners, if I see it's a low float, I just won't bother looking at it, because to me it's just not worth it. Sure, you can make a ton of money on them, but you can just as quickly lose a ton of money on those. And I am just not about playing those. I'm just not. I have no interest. I used to play those. And when you look at I don't know if I still have it up. I do not, I don't think. When you look at the beginning of my journey, that's why you see so many like big ups and downs, because I was playing those, like these like big weird ones. And like some of these were, me getting lucky. I would get into one of those and it would run and I'd have like a big winner. But I was also taking way bigger share size then too. And still at this point, I literally had just started trading. I pretty much was on paper for like a week and thought it was so easy, and went right to a live account. And as you can see, I was just all over the place. I didn't have any clue what I was doing. Yeah, I'm not really into the whole hedging ordeal. I mean, that's another thing you won't see me do. I just don't really see the appeal behind it. Like I get it, but at the same time, it's like, unless you're risking like your entire account, I mean, there's really no reason to me, especially when you have a proven strategy that's working. There's really no need to kind of go above and beyond. See what I did there? Beyond. Speaking of beyond, let's bring my other easier to read chart back up. Why did that not load? Oh, it was loading. Okay. It's actually, since there's really nothing going on, I can probably load this one. It'll look a lot better. Yeah, this thing is just absolutely stupid. I mean, it opened at what? 46. This thing opened at 46. It went to 240. 239.71. I was just completely baffled by this thing. 215. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like this thing just moves so quick. I mean, you didn't really. I mean, it went down below that and got bought up. And then, I mean, where did this open? 186. Jeez, it opened all the way down there. I get, did this gap down? I guess, I mean, obviously it had to if this is a green candle all the way down here. Oh, intraday. Gotcha. Just absolutely nuts. And then this was the Impossible Meats thing. I remember that. My brother was telling me. My brother was he's a pescatarian, and yes, he's like a legit one. He's been doing it for like 5 years now. But he was telling me how he didn't understand why Beyond Meat's stock was doing what it was doing. But I mean, it kind of makes sense because they're the first one that kind of went to market with this, so they got all the publicity and stuff like that. Where Impossible Meats are private, and they did the whole partner with was it Burger King, or it was like with one of the chain stores. I don't remember which one it was, but they like partnered with one of them that they're also private. It's gonna bother me. I think I was talking about it earlier. Let's see. Impossible. Okay, yeah, here it is. I thought it was. Wow. I found where I thought I was talking about it, but I can't find it. I suck. Yeah, it was okay. It was Burger King. Okay, it's dog food with artistic food coloring. I mean, I've never tasted it, so I don't know. But that's just absolutely nuts. The move that it's made. It just baffles me. I mean, I remember watching Mike from True Trading Group, and he just kept trying to short this thing. He just kept getting stopped out. And then I think one time he finally, it might have been on this candle where he was like, it finally paid off, like, because he trades options, and obviously he doesn't trade options exclusively, just on the higher price stocks. But it's just crazy to think that you're trading options because of a high price stock on BYND when it opened at 46 back in May. Was it May? Yeah, just crazy. It still baffles me how far that thing went. Reminds you of what was the pot stock that went nuts? Not CGC, not Cron, Tilray. I mean, look at this thing. It came all the way down here, $30, and just pot stocks were going nuts. And then this thing was just like, I remember sitting here talking to my friend Devin when this went to 300, and then all the way back down to 214 by the close. Just absolutely crazy. You know how many people lost their accounts in 2 days? I mean, that's why I don't play those. That's exactly why. And that's the other, I think, are they back? Yeah, here's that other one I was telling you about. Look at the volume it took. It took 717,000 shares. This thing obviously gapped up from the day before. And that's the other thing. Look, it gapped from $9 on, what is this, 164,000 shares. It went from $9 to 20.5, then it gapped up to 32.50, 32.34, and went all the way up to 103.90. So I was wrong. I thought I said like 114, but yeah, it went to 103.90. That's just absolutely nuts. And then it got halted when it closed at 95, and then it got delisted. Like that's crazy. Warriors work? No, I don't think this was Warriors work. I mean, this is too high price for him. And that's not enough shares. His chat room would spit out more shares than that. That guy, man. How oblivious his students are just bothers me. Like, it bothers me that he's essentially stealing their money. If you think he's stealing their money in every way that you can think about it. I mean, let's just, for instance, go to... I'm definitely getting tired. What was it? NLY? NLY. Was that the one that we traded today? Or what was one that he traded today? Anybody know? I don't follow him anymore because I got tired of... Did he even trade today? 422,000 subs. It's just nuts. It looks like he didn't trade today. Oh, he made $47 on CanF. All right. So I'm just going to go into my quick little rant about him. It's more about him ripping off his students. So first off, he lures you in with, he has a legit commercial. Like, if you haven't seen his legit commercial, like, go find it. It's crazy. But, how did he trade this? Hold on. He did trade this. What? I love how, too, like, sometimes he'll show you his orders and then sometimes he won't, which I'll get into in a second. But, when did he trade this? Look at the volume. It was crap. And that's the other thing. It's like, well, why did he trade this? Anyways, so first off, he's got these advertisements just everywhere, and he's a really good salesman. He's got a commercial, like, I think you can just go, I think it's on like the front of his website. Basically just to get you to buy these courses. He basically promises you, hey, my strategy works. Let me teach it to you. That's pretty much what it is, right? All you got to do is pay thousands of dollars. If you just want to be in the chat room, you got to pay hundreds of dollars, whatever. Well, once you're in that chat room, just like Thomas said, you drank the Kool-Aid. So say Trade Ideas pops this thing up. And this is a perfect example of what Trade Ideas gives you. And then this is the power of Ross and his chat room. So what is the float on CanF? So I'm going to show you right now. When you see 0 pop up on the float, that just means it's really low. I could probably look it up on Yahoo Finance for like the exact. It has the float at... That can't be right. Oh, that's not the right stock. I was like, it was saying 900 and some million. Yeah, 1.11 million. So you make $1 million in 2 years. And to be honest, now that I've been in this for close to a year, I've actually learned that how much Ross is making from trading really isn't like superstar status. It's actually not super impressive it's obviously impressive, but the way that he's making money, it's BS. Like, I'll get to that right now. I'm going to do my little rant and then I'm going to get out of here if no one else has any more questions. So if you're Ross, right, you see something pop up on the scanner, you're like, all right, let me pull it up. Trust me, he has to have a criteria. His criteria is it's got to be low float, something that can be moved with small amount of shares, and it has to be something that looks appealing, right? Those are really the only two things he needs, because what's he going to do? He's going to get in, and I'm assuming he didn't actually trade this now that I'm looking at it. He traded over here, which makes a lot more sense because there's the volume. Okay, I'm an idiot. That was pre-market. I'm getting tired. So, okay. At the bell, I don't really understand why he even traded this now, because isn't his whole thing like he trades breaking pre-market highs and all that crap? Okay, whatever. But anyways, so say this thing pops up on the scanner for whatever reason here, which makes no sense because there's really no volume, and then this volume is obviously Ross, right? So all he has to do is get in at any given point. Yeah, he breaks the break a pre-market pivot or whatever. So that makes no sense to me. So, I mean, I guess maybe he's going off of this line here, somewhere in here. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But all he has to do is say, okay, I'm getting in here, right? Say he gets in at 340. The power of his chat room, the reason that he didn't lose a lot of money on this is because of his chat room. So he can pull up any chart, literally any chart that has a lower float, and say, okay, this thing's moving, I'm getting in. And as long as he's in, before the hundreds or thousands, I'm pretty sure at any given point he has 1,000 people in his chat room from what I hear. I've literally, this is me telling the truth, I've never been in his chat room. That he has, say, 1,000 people looking to follow his trades. Now, granted, they're not all real traders. Some of them are doing the demo account or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So say it's even just like 200 people. That's 200 people that are immediately, most likely in that chat room, or even say cut that in half just to 100. Say 100 people are actually there trying to learn how to trade and not just following. So say we're down from 1,000 to just 100 people that are there to follow his trades. Well, those 100 people jump in and most of the time shoot this thing up, and he sells into them. Like, that's his strategy. He literally says, I'm getting into a stock. And whether he says he's doing it on purpose or not, maybe at first he wasn't, but he knows what he's doing now, to the point where he gets in. Like, if you go back and watch the videos where he shows his trade log, you'll see that he gets in, say at 9:30 and like 8 seconds. He's out of that trade at 9:30 and 12 seconds. And he's buying 9,000 shares and selling 9,000. Usually he buys like 3 lots of 3,000 shares, and then he'll sell 2 lots of 4,500 shares. And so if he's like, all right, I'm in, and then like as the price is still going up from all of his people getting in, he sells into them. How is that? How do they not see it? Like, he shows it on YouTube. Like, what the, get out of here. Like these, oh my, it irks me so bad that they can't see it. But it's like, I'm not going to go out of my way to call the guy out, because that's not, I don't want to be that guy. But the fact that these people can't see that, like they, as Thomas said, drank the Kool-Aid, like they are there to learn his strategy and get rich quick. Well, guess what? You can't use his strategy without his chat room. You can't do it. It just doesn't work. It's such a horrible strategy. Like, it may work every once in a while, but this is what happens most of the time. And look at this. So he got out break even, right? It said he said break even day $47. Well, guess what? There's not a chance that maybe one person had a break even day too in his chat room that bought in and was part of this big spike. Because guess what? Look at all the volume here. Well, guess what? That's 257,000 shares. Well, guess what? There's not 257,000 shares that traded above this line again, because look, this next candle was only 45,000 shares, and it's the highest it went was 332. So as it's making this move down, all these people that got in from his chat room based off of his alert, well, guess what? He got out break even. Well, guess what they're all getting out at? A huge loss. And it just, oh, God. Oh. Yes, doing business with the Chinese. Call me Donald Trump. I'm being Donald Trump. I'm just not taking it to Twitter. It really bothers me because, I was essentially one of those people. When I first started, I was trying to use Ross's strategy, and that's I ended up losing. I mean, I wasn't following Ross. I wasn't in his chat room, but I watched him on YouTube, just like probably everyone else did. I learned, how he was trading, and that's what I started trading with. And once I lost a crap ton of money to start, I was like, okay, obviously this might not be for me. And it happened really fast. I was like, I can't just lose $1,000 in a day. And that's the thing, when I was watching him, he's trading 10,000 shares. I'm like, hey, I'll just trade 1,000, right? I should be fine. And then I lost $1,100 the first day just trading 1,000 shares. It was just nuts. What APR run? I'm assuming you're not talking today. No, I'm not. I actually have told anybody and everybody, like, I'm never going to sell you anything. The only time I'll ever like push something is if I truly believe in it. Like ISW, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I wouldn't still be trading and profitable at that, like especially this past month, like I just showed you guys tonight, if it wasn't for ISW. Like these scanners changed my life. So that's, yes, I'm affiliated with them, but I'm pushing them because I know they can help you go to that next level as a trader, not because I'm making an affiliation fee off of it. That's the truth. Same thing with CMEG. I don't push CMEG as a broker. I'm not telling everyone to go sign up under CMEG, but if you are going to sign up under CMEG, yeah, it helps me out. Again, I'm an affiliate with them, but that's me helping you guys get the better commissions. I'm pushing that point. Jesus, it must be midnight. I'm pushing the point that I'm pretty sure I can just go over to Thinkorswim. I'm pushing the point that you guys can go to the next level by paying $2 less per ticket by switching from SureTrader to CMEG. Like, that is what I'm pushing. I'm not pushing you to go to CMEG so that I can make money off of you. That has nothing to do with that. So when it comes to, say, a chat room, the only way I would ever have a chat room is like in the distant future. Say I am absolutely killing it and YouTube kind of becomes, more of, I don't want to say, because I actually plan when both of my kids are in school, while I'm still on YouTube, I plan on kind of doing what Monkey's doing, just going live for the open and kind of trading like that, like probably like once or twice a week, just to help everybody out, like show you what I'm doing. And if it's working, hopefully you guys can learn from that. But if there was ever a chat room, that would be like distant future. Like, I would have to be in the game for years, have myself proven through my countless years on YouTube, like showing you that I'm proven, and just, I would be that no BS chat room that people basically just can't call out because they know I'm legit. So if you want in my chat room, it's legit. It's that simple. But until I'm to that point, I will never even consider it, because that's not why I'm here. I'm not here because I'm going to tell you right now, the millions that Mullet Man is making is not from trading. Like, and when he is making money from trading, it's not even real trading. Like, he's literally basically stealing money. He's taking money from you to get into the chat room, and when you're in the chat room, he's taking more of your money by getting you to buy shares that he's selling at the same time. Like, he's selling you his shares at like 4 seconds after I got into the trade. It just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. There is absolutely nothing from a secret community of traders from pumping and dumping stocks. Absolutely nothing. It's such a cliche, but at this point, how can you stop it? If you actually had a group of people that were doing it, it would be very hard for people to kind of figure it out. But the worst part is you have public groups doing it. They can't call them pump and dumpers because they're not actively saying, hey, like, let's pump this stock. They're just saying, hey, I'm buying this stock here, and that's that. Like, if you want to buy it too, that's up to you. But so many people, again, as Thomas said, drink the Kool-Aid. There it is. They're all going to buy because they're saying to buy, and they didn't take the time. And that's why 90% of people fail, is because they don't actually learn the market. They're sheep. That's that. It is illegal. I don't understand how, and I'll just name one of them, like Jason Bond. I don't understand how they get away with it. It's so obvious. Like, if there's a Investors Live, yeah. If well, it's probably because he did something wrong, like specifically wrong. He probably said something he wasn't supposed to that basically put him on blast. But if you pull up a stock that's running and it's on SSR and it had absolutely no volume, like say this was like flat all day, right? And then like at 12:30 in the afternoon, like lunchtime, you just get a huge spike of like 400,000 shares. Well, that's because, and it's an SSR stock. That's because Jason Bond just like let out an alert that, hey, I'm in this stock. I can almost guarantee you almost every time that you see a big volume bar out of nowhere and it's an SSR, like low priced stock, it's them. Like you catch on to what they're doing. It's pathetic. And anytime like at the bell or whatever you see like the big low float runner going, I mean, the odds are it's probably Ross. That's his thing. So it's like you start to pick up on what these big rooms are doing. And like you said, there's really nothing to stop a secret community. I mean, I was reading on, I don't forget where it was. I think it was on Reddit. But there was an article written about, there's literally a dark website, a website on the dark web where to get into the website, like you can sign up, but you have to actually give legit insider information on a stock that's going to make a big move. And if you are right, like if you are telling the truth about whatever this insider information is, that's how you get accepted to be a member on this website. And it's literally a website designed for people that can leak insider information about a stock that's about to come out with like big news or whatever. Like that's, to know that that's even out there, even if it's not real, but to know that it could be real, like that's scary. Like that's crazy. The StockTwits is just stupid. People that are on StockTwits, I mean, if any of you are on StockTwits, stop. Just get out and run. It makes absolutely no sense. It's literally full of people that get stuck in bad trades, and all they do is try to say it's doing something that it's not, because it's not doing what they want it to do, and it's just stupid. It's literally full of people that are stuck in bad trades, and they're just trying to pump it the other way. And I don't think the article I was reading was from StockTwits. And I actually went, because I have been on the dark web. Like I have Tor installed and stuff like that. Back when, this was from years ago. And so I went and checked, and the website is there. I just went and looked for the website. But obviously I didn't get in. I don't have, what the hell insider information would I have? But, all right. Do you guys have any questions? I think I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget to hit that like button. I just want to see it get higher than it is. So if you're here and you didn't hit it already, there's 10 of you here. There's 10 likes. But are you the same 10 people that hit the like button already? If not, hit it. And if you're not subscribed, just do that. That's actually better than hitting the like button. I'd rather you do that. I guess I can X out of this now. Or did it come? No, it didn't come back. They don't come back for a while. Probably from funds invested in the... Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. But like, if you just go to StockTwits, those guys are just absolutely full of shiznuts. Let me close that. Alrighty. So wrapping it up, fellas. Any questions? I just realized I didn't even have my light on this whole time. Got the light on up there. Thoughts on WM for long-term investment? I like it. Let's see. Pull out the daily. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Ooh, she looks a little extended. Let's go back even further. I'm not usually one to go even further, but let's just do max available so we can just have it up there. Oh, that is the max. Oh no, okay. So wow, this thing started way down here and started going up. It's a tough one, man. I mean, if you know me, I'm all about not buying extended stocks, and I'm also not for shorting oversold. Like if this thing was down the other way, like going down, I wouldn't be looking. Yeah, I just wouldn't be able to buy up here. It wouldn't make sense to me. I mean, if you get like a move like one of these, like see this move here and this move here, or even this one, like if you can get something like that and it's still kind of like let's scroll over here. So you kind of have like an uptrend here, and this is actually really an uptrend, so that would be tough for me. I haven't used these in a while. I would need to see this line here. I would need to see a big dip, something like these, but not below here. And so somewhere like your buy would be somewhere in this area. But if you're looking long term, I would still have to, I wouldn't be able to buy here looking for long term, but yeah, I don't know. To me, I would not be buying right now. I would need some kind of a pullback. And again, I think that like this area, because if you really want to look at it, it was the previous resistance too, for the most part. So if it does pull back and you get below this area, then it's probably maybe taking a turn to come back down a little bit. There's really no other and that's the other thing with stocks that move like this. It's hard to find key areas. Because like if you put it here, it's not really a key area. I mean, you obviously have this key area here, which we can come all the way across. So it was a previous resistance, and when it went above, it actually used it as support twice. So if she came all the way back down to this area, that could be a good buy. But definitely not up where it's at. That's just my personal opinion. Again, I'm not a professional advisor, whatever the heck you want to call it. So this is all for entertainment purposes only. I think I have to say that, right? Just to save my ass. But yeah. Any other questions? I'll give you 2 minutes till 12:10 my time. My time. I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was going to be one of the shorter streams that I have done, but it actually went fairly long. Yeah, hopefully that made sense too. Mr. Doing business with the Chinese. Again, I'm not huge into long-term trading, but just from a technical standpoint, I would think that buying up here at its current price is not a good idea. I mean, granted, it could be a move like this and it just kind of doesn't ever pull back. But, I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of red days in here. So it looks like it's trying to find a top for right now. So I would look for a pretty big pullback. Maybe draw this line right here. Is it like 10? Scroll and get a closer look. Like the top here was 107.45. The low was 160. So I would just say like around 107. I mean, if you get a nice pullback down there towards like 108 or something, that could be a good idea. But I would definitely put a stop loss in under that. Because, like I said, I feel from a technical standpoint, if she kind of breaks this area, like if you look at it, it's really the only thing stopping it up here from falling even further. Because after that, then you got right here, which is like 104. So it's a pretty big drop. And then after that, you really don't have until here, which is really getting down there. So it's definitely it'd be a tough one to trade up there. Probably a stressful trade that you don't need to put yourself in. But all right, guys. Well, if that's all we got, you got 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7. Any more questions? If that's all we got, that was my funniest stock ticker symbol you've seen. Be a value trader like Warren Buffett. Yeah, true. Funniest stock ticker. Like, in what sense? Like, just the way it moves, or are you talking about just like the name of it? Because I already know that one. What's the one for Dick's Sporting Goods? Is it XX? DIC. I know there's one. Is it DYX? Maybe. No. I can't remember what it was. Bork. Mine. Oh, you know what? I might be able to pull it. I have t-shirt ideas. It was DIX. Did they like get unlisted or something? When I first started trading with my friend Devin, it was it was last year, 2018, because I had one where it said in quotes trading DIX since 2018, like as a t-shirt. I thought that would be so funny. I'm pretty sure it was DIX though. That's the problem, but it's not there anymore. But I mean, I guess DKS could be one. Yeah, anything with that would be. Oh, so that's their yeah. But I think the one that he had up was DIX. Because I remember him trading it, and I was just like, oh, somebody likes to play with dicks. It just, that to me, that was the funniest one. But Bork is a pretty good one. Is USA is actually a stock? It is. Liberty All-Star Equity Fund. Interesting. That's like I look for like I always would look for like my name, which is Tim. I remember looking for GDT, which made me laugh because Garage Day Trader, I always said that he should like look to trade this just out of principle. Dang, that actually gets a lot of volume. I didn't realize how much volume that thing gets. Actually makes some pretty big moves too. Holy crap. That's pretty crazy moves this thing makes. There's I'm not gonna lie, I remember back when I first started trading, I would only trade, and this was August of last year, so right here. No, that's not right. This is this August right here. So when I first started trading, I remember telling my friend Devin, let's go, it's like right here, that we were trading like, $10 to $20 stocks. And I was like, man, we need to find stocks like this one, because like this thing would range. And I remember it was at $30 right in this area when we were talking about it. But look at the moves this thing was making. It was going from 30 or 28 to 34, 32 to 38. Like it just, the range on these were like crazy. I'm like, man, if you could just catch this one way or the other, as it goes up, and it would go from like low to high, in one move. And then just, I remember it was like somewhere up in here, I remember pulling it up and I was like, Devin, do you remember Mr. Ticks? Because that's what I used to call it, Mr. Ticks. And I was like, pull it up. And he pulled it up and it was like 103, 104 or whatever. And he was like, holy shit. And yeah, but it's just crazy. It's like, I mean, talk about, I was looking at it down here in the 30s, you know, you always in hindsight be like, well, what if I would have just bought like 100 shares? Let it run. The Ricky Gutierrez charts. This cracks me up because I think he got called out recently, didn't he? On the tube. Basically, you just buy one and sell the other, and then whichever one works. Look, that is some volatile stuff, man. It's absolutely nuts. I personally don't understand. Excuse me. I don't understand how you can trade that, especially on like no volume. Like it just makes no sense to me. He trades it every day. Like how can, I mean, I just don't get it. Like I could understand you guys, but I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, he's literally putting thousands of shares looking for like these micro moves. Just makes no sense to me. And on top of that, you know, some of what Whelan said about him kind of does make sense. Yep. Just trade both, and then whichever one makes you profit, that's the one you show. Because now that Whelan came out and said all that, how many people from Ricky's room said, you know, they'd watch him lose on screen, and then like an hour later he's posting these big profits. It's like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. But hey, that's what people are, just like Mullet Man. That's what they're the top 2 on YouTube as far as traders. People follow them, and they're just throwing money down the drain. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to become big like them, 100K subs, and that's when I would call them guys out. Like if I was big enough to where I could have an audience listen to me, I wouldn't do it Whelan style. I mean, that guy just takes a tweet and runs with it. You know, I would take a month of my time and really, you know, find these people that got screwed over and do my dedicated research, and I would actually go after these guys. But that's neither here nor there, and that's in the distant future. But with that, guys, I see you guys are dwindling out. I'm getting tired myself. I'm going to get out of here. It was nice talking to you. That was my month in July review. If you guys have any additional comments or questions or comments, just let me know. Either, I don't think there's a comment section in a live video. You can leave them on a different video. You can email me. Just tweet me, whatever. Hopefully we all learned something tonight. That's the whole point of this. And have a good weekend. I appreciate you guys stopping by. And I will talk to you guys on Monday. Later. Peace. Whatever you want to say on the outro thingamajigger.